Continuing with my modified chronological order, I hopped in to watch the final 2 episodes of the Asajj and Grievous arc. Part 2 consists of Season 2 Episode 9, Grievous Intrigue, and Season 2 Episode 10, The Deserter. Let's jump in. Grievous Intrigue. General Grievous boards Jedi Master Koth's ship and proceeds to slaughter clone after clone. Eventually, after putting up a good fight against Grievous and his band of commando droids, Koth is captured. The more I watch episodes with Grievous, the more I like his character. He's incredibly self-conscious. People called him Dooku's errand boy and a pawn. And he's always like, nuh-uh, I'm not an errand boy, nuh-uh, I'm really strong and powerful, nuh-uh. He is so self-conscious that he has to constantly entertain these comments and push against them, when in reality he can probably see some truth in them. Not to mention Grievous is always scheming. He's always fighting unfairly, which I know there's really no such thing as an unfair fight in war. You just have to get the job done. But seeing Grievous, this self-proclaimed tough guy, fighting Koth, while Koth is being shocked from droids, it really does a good job showing the cowardly side of Grievous. So Koth is captured, and Grievous sends a hologram message to the Jedi on Coruscant. And then something happened that I absolutely loved. In the message, you can see Koth laying down on the ground after being shocked. He's badly hurt. But the Jedi on Coruscant notice he's giving hand signals in the hologram message. Subtle little hand signals, like sign language. And these hand signals from Koth actually give away Grievous's position. I love this so much because it's very similar to a real-life story during the Vietnam War. Admiral Jeremiah Denton was a prisoner of war held by the North Vietnamese for more than 7 years. The North Vietnamese filmed him answering canned questions about his prisoner experience, how they were treating him, basically asking how they were treating him, for propaganda purposes really. And the Admiral told the camera that he was being fed, he was being clothed, all that kind of stuff. But the Admiral blinked in Morse code. He actually blinked the word torture in Morse code. And then that video was broadcast all around the world without the North Vietnamese realizing what the Admiral had done. So the real-life parallel of this moment from the show makes me love it even more. So Obi-Wan Kenobi, Anakin, and crew zoom towards General Grievous's location. Anakin comes a bit later in a smaller craft, so he pops out of hyperspace super late, be super sneaky, and softly land on Grievous's ship with the goal of boarding it. Grievous, not so dumb as he might seem, predicts this rescue mission and has a trap laid for Anakin when he reaches the captured Koth. A bunch of commando droids pop out, but inevitably they're all cut down. The fight scene in that room was a lot of fun to watch, mainly because the commando droids were putting up an actually decent fight. And because TV-94 got his arm chopped off, and his arm had a button on it that would kill Koth. So he pretty much spends the entire fight crawling around on the ground, trying to retrieve his arm so he can press that button. A lot like the scene in Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom where Willie Scott was crawling on the ground trying to find the diamond while there was a big-ass gunfight going on. Ultimately, Grievous escapes after destroying the Republic ship. He's able to board a landing craft and head down to the surface of, and I wrote this down, I can't remember how it's pronounced, Saleucami? I think that, right? Saleucami? I think. Oh, I'm gonna get burned in the comments section if that's wrong. But those 3 moments I mentioned earlier really made the episode for me. Seeing a self-conscious Grievous, the hand signals to indicate position from Koth, and the fight scene with TV-94 crawling around. I really liked those moments. While I was watching this episode, I had the realization that a lot of the Clone Wars, at least these episodes with Jedi that we know and villains that we know, the ones from the films, these episodes are kind of like the old Villain of the Week shows. Meaning Superman never fully defeats Lex Luthor, Batman never fully defeats the Joker. It's kind of a throwback to the TV shows of the past where heroes and villains would forever be in battle, always pursuing one another, never accomplishing their goals. It's kind of fun. After watching Grievous Intrigue, I hopped on over to The Deserter. So the Republic is hot on Grievous's tail. When they get to the surface of, and here we go again, Saleucami? I think that's right. They find a downed ship with dead droids. Is this the first time we see a droid's memory being mined for intel? I don't remember seeing that before. Either way, I love the idea. Makes complete sense. These battle droids basically have a hive mind, right? All linked together. So the idea of being able to get intel from them is neat. It'd be like hacking into enemy computers or possessing that computer for technicians to investigate. It's a cool idea. So Captain Rex gets wounded from a sniper, and his small group seeks shelter to tend to the captain. They come across a farm, and then the dynamic that came next is what made this episode for me. I mean, seriously, the farmer and Rex dynamic was great. The entire episode could have just been that, and gotten rid of the portions with Obi-Wan and Grievous, and the episode would have been just as strong, if not stronger. So it turns out that the farmer is a clone. He says after the Battle of Geonosis, he decided to leave, he deserted, he wanted a different life. He wanted to make his own choices and not have his destiny chosen for him. I loved the conversations between the farmer and Rex, telling Rex there's another way, telling Rex that he wanted the freedom of choice, to be an individual, to each his own. He'd rather fight for his family instead of fighting in a war he didn't understand. It was one of the more interesting aspects of the show so far. A clone who wants a different life so bad, he's willing to leave everything he knows to pursue that different life. And the way Rex sympathized with him in the end, it was all fantastic. I'm really curious how Order 66 would affect the farmer. Or would it affect him at all? Is it a range thing? I have no idea. I'm sure it's explained somewhere in a comic or whatever. And hey, maybe it'll even be addressed later on in this show. Who knows? I kind of hope it is. I'm curious. So the farmer's children accidentally activate a group of commando droids inside of a downed separatist ship. The droids start marching slowly to the farmer's house, and in Night of the Living Dead fashion, all dark and dreary, the farmer takes up arms and defends his home from the monsters. It was a really fun sequence. Droids trying to infiltrate his home, the farmer fighting them off, Rex upstairs defending the farmer's family, being the last line of defense in case anything went wrong. It was fun. Overall, I absolutely loved this aspect of the episode. It was interesting. Two clones from the same place, but living extremely different lives. The freedom of choice is there, even for a programmed mind. It was just neat. And the shot at the end of Rex riding off into the sunset, or I guess it was a sunrise, right? Was a nice touch. And in Villain of the Week fashion, General Grievous escapes. On to the next arc. HelloGreedo, out.